Welcome to our lesson about ambient light. Before we begin our discussion about ambient light, let me say a few words about light in SOLIDWORKS and Photoworks in general. In the SOLIDWORKS Feature Manager tree, we've got a folder for lights, cameras, and scene. Currently, you can see that we've got one ambient light and two directional lights. All three lights are currently active. Now let's go to the Photoworks Manager tab. Here's a lighting folder with the same lights, all three active. How it works is like this. You set up the light in SOLIDWORKS, and from the Photoworks interface, you can simply turn the lights on and off. Let's reset the graphic area. I'm going to select View, Lights. Here we've got two directional lights. Let's activate the preview window as well. Let me try toggling the lights on and off in SOLIDWORKS. Notice that my preview window, the Photoworks preview, isn't affected. Let's go to Photoworks now, and we toggle between on and off with a right-click on in Photoworks. Now the preview window updates, but the graphic area in SOLIDWORKS is not affected. Let's go back to the Feature Manager tab. To add a new light, just right-click on the Lights folder and select which type of light you'd like to add: a directional light, a spotlight, or a point light. Ambient, we're only able to add one ambient light, so when I right-click, I don't have the option to delete it. However, when I right-click on the directional lights, I do have the option to delete them. Now we're ready to explore ambient light. Let's right-click on it and select Properties. Ambient light is even, non-directional light. In other words, ambient light illuminates a scene evenly from all directions. The Ambient Light Property Manager gives us three parameters to edit. We can adjust the color of the ambient light. We can turn the light on or off. And here's a dial for adjusting the intensity of the ambient light. Let's unselect Lights from the View menu. When I turn the light on and off, as I did before, it affects the model in SOLIDWORKS only, but not in Photoworks. Let's take a look at editing the color. Click the Edit Color button. This launches a color palette. Let's try blue and click OK. Let's switch it to white now. And lastly, let's change the intensity of the light using this dial. Let's click the Photoworks Properties button now. The Photoworks Ambient Light Property Manager only gives us the option to switch the ambient lighting on and off. When I check on in Photoworks, the preview window is modified, but the model in SOLIDWORKS is not affected. When we're done, let's click OK. And let's render the image. By the way, you may be wondering by now why the sphere right here reflects both the walls and the environment, and the reflection from this sphere in the mirror reflects only the floor and not the environment. Let's just take a moment to figure that one out. We'll go to Options, Document Properties. In the Ray Tracing section, let's check Custom Settings. Number of reflections, we'll change it to 2. Keep in mind, the higher the number of reflections, the slower the rendering. Let's render again. Now the sphere in the mirror reflects the environment as well. And this concludes our lesson about ambient light.